As I'm beginning notes about our show, a friend of mine told me that he's having difficulty hearing the difference between our voices. He says we sound alike.
I can't believe anyone would say that's true.
Quiet, please.
I'm just glad we don't look alike.
Okay.
In 4, 3, 2.
The Terrible Company presents a truly dreadful podcast. Welcome to Nonsense, episode number 4. I'm Jeff Parker.
And I'm CJ Little.
This is our take on the week's business, tech, and entertainment headlines. This time we'll look at Y2K V2. Are you willing to trade your privacy for security? Tipping for good service? What's right with cryptocurrency? And finally, Happy Lunar New Year.
Happy Lunar New Year to you, too.
I didn't get you anything.
I know.
But first, our headlines.
So, according to scientists at the International Institute for Applied Systems Analysis, gravity batteries in abandoned mines could power the whole entire planet, and they don't self-discharge.
What's a gravity battery?
Apparently, it's like a big rock that you put on a cable.
Yeah.
And it goes down the shaft.
And you expend energy lifting it up the shaft, and then you get energy back when
it goes down.
Right. And so when it's hanging in its topmost position, It's not leaking energy.
A lot of potential energy until that rope breaks.
T-Mobile confirms hackers stole data from 37 million customer accounts.
Again.
This is their fifth data breach since 2018. For 6 weeks, someone was draining their data undetected in their system. Now, the interesting thing about this is they paid a fine on one of their, they paid out to customers in a class action suit, $350 million. And in that, they had to promise to spend $150 million to upgrade their security. Mm-hmm. How's that going?
Apparently not well.
Jane Fraser, CEO of Citigroup, Wall Street's biggest work-from-home advocate, now has some concerns about remote work.
Yeah, it turns out these leases are really expensive. We should put people in there.
You know, I that's not actually the case. I think Jane Fraser is one of the best CEOs in banking.
Yeah.
And she's extremely smart. And here's what she was totally on board for work from home. And then she discovered there are workers who are lagging.
Yeah.
Who are not performing
sure.
and so for mentorship's sake, she's saying it's really probably better if if you're a top performer, fine, stay at home, do everything you want. If you rather than us having to release you from employment,
sure,
come in and learn from others how we do this.
I mean, you can still mentor remotely, but also they've got a big enough footprint that you can do regionalized areas.
It's hard. It's hard to mentor remotely.
I appreciate
that's
that.
Difficult.
I agree.
And she talk about great leadership. The first thing she put it on herself. She said, when I was coming up in business, I had great mentors, and that's how I got to go where I got to go.
Totally.
That's an A+.
Yeah.
Toadzilla. Have you seen this story?
He sounds big. No, I haven't. Sounds giant.
Some park rangers in Queensland, Australia, came across this snake crossing the road. So they pull over their car.
Okay, as one does.
And they see in the grass by their car this cane toad.
Okay.
And this cane toad looks rather large, and so the woman gets out and she picks it up, and oh my God, it's 6 pounds. It's the world's largest
cane toad.
The cane toads are the largest of the toads.
Sure.
So it's the world's largest toad.
Yeah.
The females get bigger than the males.
Okay.
And she they euthanize them because they're pests. They literally are highly, highly toxic. She had to wear gloves when she was touching it.
Wow.
And nothing eats the cane toad.
Okay.
The cane toad, it can eat anything it puts in its mouth.
Okay.
So this is this is a huge problem in Queensland. They were initially introduced into Australia because they had a cane beetle, and the cane beetle would put its larvae into sugarcane, which is an important crop, right?
Yep.
And so they thought, well, let's bring in 24 of these cane toads. They'll eat all the...
problem.
Not a problem.
What could go
always
wrong?
Sounds like a great idea, right?
We'll tell them all to practice abstinence. We'll be fine.
Exactly. 2,400 cane toads is now 200 million plus cane toads.
So is it like prairie dogs in the Midwest? Like, will farmers pay you to go down there and just shoot a bunch of cane toads?
I'm not shooting frogs.
Why not? They're pests.
I'm a techie. I don't do that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so we'll make trebuchets.
Now, when AI takes away our jobs,
totally.
We might have to learn to shoot cane toads. That may be our next career. Super gonorrhea has reached the U.S.
You don't have any good stories, do you? Toadzilla straight into super gonorrhea.
Super gonorrhea is one of my favorite superheroes.
Yes, it is.
You don't read the DC comics, do you?
I don't. Yeah. Is he brown? What color is super gonorrhea?
He's probably a green brown.
I'm going to guess probably a green brown.
Probably a green brown.
With a little pink, maybe some red.
Maybe, yeah.
I'm not sure.
It's got super strong antibiotic resistance. They had 2 cases in Massachusetts, And
Figures.
the two
Good
cases.
job, Massachusetts, leading us on super gonorrhea.
The two cases supposedly were actually unrelated. So there
Wow.
may be a lot more cases that we don't know about.
Yeah.
Lawmakers grill ticketing industry after Taylor Swift concert fiasco. Did you get your Taylor Swift tickets?
I did not.
Yeah. I don't know much about Taylor Swift's music. I can tell you as a business person, I got a lot of respect for Taylor Swift.
Sure.
She's been absolutely amazing to follow.
I did see that her last album that dropped, I think, this past winter, outsold vinyl outsold CDs for the first time in like 25 years.
Yeah, incredible.
Which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Because
She sells
vinyl's
a
going
ton
up
of
and CD
records.
sales have to be near zero.
Now, there's a whole aspect of the story that we could talk about Ticketmaster, Live Nation having essentially a monopoly on tickets.
I don't know if we need the word
And
essentially, but yes.
that's an interesting topic. That's not the thing I want to talk about with you right now.
Okay.
This was like calling a radio station being caller number 107. A zillion people are going to do it all at once.
Yep.
And Ticketmaster knew. She said, "Are you going to be able to handle this kind of volume?"
Sure.
2.4 million tickets people are going to want to get in all at the same second.
Yeah.
How do you do this? How do you make a database not fail? How do you make a website not fail when you've got everyone coming on literally
it's
at the
feasible.
same moment?
You can do it. Is it worth the investment? Probably not.
Because you're going to
how
use
many
it
of
for
these
1 second. I mean,
Exactly.
And then the
Once
rest of the
every
time, it's
5
all
years.
going to be
Yeah,
idle. Yeah.
I mean, she could have maybe spread out her show dates.
You're sharding the database
Yeah.
for sure. I mean, you're doing lots of nifty
And
tricks.
it's not, because they get. I'm not anybody to give Ticketmaster any sort of rope on this, but it's not an easy problem for them either because they've got bots that are constantly scooping up tickets. They got to make sure you're human, and then people locking them up in their cart and not buying them. It's a hard problem.
Ticketmaster may have their own bots buying up tickets.
Yeah.
You don't really know.
Yeah. Well, that's just yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I thought that was an interesting story just because technologically, I think the problem is quite
It's hard.
quite difficult.
It's hard.
39 mass shootings in the last 24 days this year. We've had 24 days to this year. We've had
That's
39 mass shootings.
Just
It doesn't
bonkers.
matter if you're a Republican, doesn't matter if you're a Democrat. I think we can all agree the current system isn't working.
Yeah, 39's a high number. 39 would be a high number for the year.
Oh, yeah.
Like if it was
In
39
some
mass shootings
countries,
for the year.
in some
Yeah.
countries, that would be the whole year.
I think you mean in most countries.
This was really cool. You are going to like this one. 19% of new vehicles in California last year were zero-emission vehicles.
Yeah, love it.
Zero-emission vehicle sales were 5.8.
5.8%. That's a lot.
Yeah.
6% of all U.S. new car sales.
5.8%. Yeah,
That's-
but yeah, it's a lot of cars.
Around. You have too many digits.
You hate it when I don't round these numbers.
I mean, I'll give you 2 digits. When you get into 3 or 4 digits, nobody cares.
Okay, Elon Musk has an interest payment coming
Oh,
up
boy, here
for
we
Twitter.
go.
He borrowed $13 billion.
As one does from their friends.
He now owes an interest payment of $300 million. He can probably pay it.
Sure.
But they're just going to, these payments are just going to keep coming.
That turns out that's how interest works.
And revenue's got to be off. I mean, he's saying it's off 40%. The reality is it's probably off 70 or 80%. I don't
Wow.
know. You look at your Twitter, what do you see? You don't see the name brand ads
you know
anymore.
what I see? I see a lot of people moving to Mastodon.
Yeah.
The number of people that have Mastodon handles in their Twitter handle is impressive. Like non-nerd. The nerds all moved. We are all there. But the non-nerds, I'm impressed.
Yeah. I got one last story.
Okay.
This is surfing in Oahu.
Ah.
The Eddie, I can't even say the guy, I don't speak Hawaiian, so I'm going to say this badly. Eddie Akayo, Big Wave Invitational.
Yeah.
It's the best surfers in the world. They
Yeah.
come and for the last 30 some years they've had this competition, and you literally draw the best of the best surfers. The month before when this would be held, it's only been held 9 times in the last 30 years because the wave conditions haven't been right. But the top surfers start monitoring the weather reports and buoy reports and all
Yeah.
this stuff to see if they're going to actually hold this thing. And so they held it this year. It was Saturday. And the best surfers all fly in and get ready and do their old thing. It was won by a guy who was a lifeguard on the beach,
That's awesome.
who asked his
I
boss.
mean, not for all the guys that flew in to compete.
Yeah, but he asked his boss, "Can I go get?
You mind if I just go out there and show these?
Can I sign up on
mainlanders
the
how this
alternate?
works?
Yeah, can I sign up on the alternate
That's
list?"
awesome.
And he creamed everybody.
What's his name?
Luke Shepherdson.
Luke Shepherdson.
Yeah.
Awesome. Good job, Luke. This is
Oh.
episode 4, and I'd also like to point out it's the 4th episode where we've mentioned Hawaii in the top.
All right, those are our headlines. So let's hit the button, and you can tell us all about Y2KV2.
Well, okay, this time it's not Y2K. It's Y2K38.
Y2K38.
Do you know why?
Not a clue.
Well, let's go back to the beginning,
Yeah.
shall we? What did you think was going to happen on Y2K?
I was hoping I'd get kissed.
Did it come out?
It's New Year's.
Did it work?
I think it worked out okay.
What did you think the worst case scenario
I don't
was?
remember, actually. What?
What did you think the worst case scenario was
I wouldn't
in
get,
Y2K?
I wouldn't get kissed.
It was very Jeff-centric.
Yeah, no, it's
it was
all
a
about
very
me.
Jeff-centric millennium.
Sure. No, I know. It was because we had two-digit year representations, and that was going to roll over. We're going to run out of all that that data space. Yeah.
Yep.
And nothing happened.
But going back 20 years, Y2K, everybody was concerned that it was all going to fail and break. We had people camped out in data centers.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember what I did?
No, stored up water.
I went to Paris.
Oh, that's right.
I totally fucked off and went to Paris. Yeah.
I remember that.
And I had clients that were freaked out that stuff was going to break. And I was like, nothing's going to break.
Yeah, no,
nothing's
sure.
going to fail. It's totally fine because we prepped for it, right? And
I can look at all your database tables. I can see if you have any years represented as two.
Yeah, I mean, it was more
characters.
like older systems that hadn't been updated where you're worried about. And there were some things, there were some wrinkles, but they were all very small wrinkles that happened. My favorite were years would be reported in 2000 as 19100. That was probably my favorite.
That's awesome.
Some bad string parsing. And then, and this is just me complaining now, there was, do you know what date windowing is or was? So this is just a kick the can problem, right? Guys that were probably about to retire before 2000 said, well, okay, instead of actually fixing the problem and using a 4-digit representation in a freaking string, we're going to just make anything that's from like 00 to 19. We're just going to make that mean 2000.
Yes, of course.
So, not if you want to represent a date from the 1911s.
Yeah.
And we're just going to kick the problem to 2020. And my belief is just because they'd be retired then. So that when it breaks, they'd be like,
deal with
not
it.
my problem.
Sure.
So anyway, we're calling this now the apocalypse, which I think is great.
Okay.
Epoch ellipse, right?
Yeah.
So when's the epoch? Do you remember when the actual epoch was?
January 1st, 1970 at midnight.
That is correct.
That's the Unix
Midnight
epoch.
UTC. So that is the Unix epoch. So the way most systems keep time is the number of seconds or milliseconds since that epoch, right? And since basically these machines or these more specifically the software that sits on top of these machines didn't exist before 1970, we didn't have to worry about date representations before 1970.
Right.
Forget about history and any of that fun stuff. We've got machines that have been counting 1 second every single second since 1970, and that's how they do their math. And anything that's encoded in 32-bit, so typical time T struct is a signed 32-bit, you get about 2+ billion seconds until it rolls over.
Sure.
Well, 2 billion seconds is coming up.
I'm sure in 1970 they thought, well, that's never going to come.
Exactly.
We're never going to
More
get...
importantly, I'm not going to be alive,
Right.
so it's not a problem.
I won't be working here.
So that date is January 19th, 2038.
Correct.
January 19th, 2038, the 32-bit signed ints will roll over. And all sorts of bad shit will happen because it won't just be...
Oh, that's a very different case. That's an extremely
absolutely.
different case than the other Y2K.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And what's really interesting about this, too, is when it rolls over, it doesn't just go like backwards. It goes to a negative time. So anything
Correct.
that doesn't interpret this well is now going to go look at things that are 50-plus years before 1970.
Yeah.
And all sorts of hell is just going to break loose. So what is fascinating about this to me is I'm coming across people that are testing it on their systems now just to see what would happen. Not that it's actually going to be a thing.
Sure.
And as expected, it's not pretty, right?
Right,
It's like,
of course.
these bizarre failure cases, things that are dying. Now, the good news at the end of this is we're kicking the can ourselves as a solution for this. So typically we're taking from a 32-bit signed integer and putting it into a 64-bit signed integer.
Sure.
Which is still kicking the can.
That's kicking the can way down
Well,
the road.
I mean, yeah, a little bit. So you're kicking
It's
the
gotta
can
be.
to
I don't know the math, but it's got to be huge.
turns out I do.
Oh, you do. Of course you do.
About 292 billion years.
Oh, so we are
Yeah.
going to come up on that date eventually.
Which, by the way, is greater. I tried to put some perspective on what that means. It's greater than 20 times the age of the current universe.
Sure.
So,
but that's just the event that's going to come up.
someone's going to have to
eventually.
deal with it.
Somebody's.
It's not going to be me.
We won't be working then.
It's not going to be. No, I will probably be retired. Although I don't know. They keep pushing the retirement age up. I might still be working by then. So, I mean, what are we concerned about here? I think it's going to be embedded systems.
Well, everything running 32-bit software.
Well, yeah,
right?
right. And you've got a whole bunch of like Raspberry Pis that are 32-bit, install 32-bit software by default. They're not putting 64-bit software on it.
Mine have 64-bit.
Of course they do. Yeah. Of course, because you're a super nerd.
I think they even stopped.
But like vehicles,
I think they
or
even
equipment?
stopped making 32-bit Linux. I never see it when I
There's
see
still
options.
AS400 machines out there.
I
in
know,
production.
but I never see the latest version of the kernel in 32-bit version of it. I only see the 64-bit version of it.
But it's pretty awesome to see folks. I just thought I was tickled by the fact that folks were testing this on their machines, which is kind of like.
Oh, it's interesting.
Right? Like
Yeah.
and you kind of want to go to a production machine and just be like, just see what happens. Just set it to January 19th, 2038, 2 seconds before the rollover.
I probably
and
wouldn't
watch
try it on
fail.
a production machine.
No, that's probably a bad idea. Yeah. Anyway, that's the Y2K 38 problem.
Mark your calendars.
It's around the corner. Coming up next, trading your privacy for security? Not me.
Did you read the Wall Street Journal?
I do, mainly for the comics.
Yes. Great article in this week's Wall Street Journal that was about this database that tracks people who transfer money outside of the U.S. or inside of the U.S. from Mexico and 22 other regions. And 150 million money transfers, and they keep them in a database that literally anyone can have access to.
I can just go select splat.
Pretty much.
Select splat Jeff Parker.
Any policeman can go grab this data, whether he has a warrant or not. It does not require
That's
any
crazy.
oversight or warrant. Now, obviously, they're doing it because they're afraid of money laundering.
Sure.
They're afraid of the various things. So there's some security benefit to this, I guess. The question is, how much privacy are you willing to give up for security?
Yeah, it's a balance. I mean, and I also think it comes down to what you're hinting at here, which is it's the execution, right? The execution of this sounds kind of terrible.
Right,
This is all
right.
just sitting in a whatever.
This is
SQL
some
database.
nonprofits database, the Transaction Record Analysis Center, that keeps 600 local and federal law enforcement agencies with warrantless access to the full names of the sender and recipient, the amounts of money through Western
Yeah, sure.
Union, MoneyGram.
Look, I think it's good to know if people are sending money to terrorist organizations or sanctioned companies, sanctioned countries. Sure, that's
Most
good
of
to
these
know.
people making these transfers
are not doing that.
are very poor.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Yeah.
really, this is not something you probably need to be keeping in a database like this. Are you seeing people sending, huge, enormous?
Sure.
So make it just log them in the database if they're sending over $10,000
Exactly.
or give it
Put some
trigger.
floor on it or
Yeah.
something. Yeah. That's what
That's
I
not
just
how
think-
it works.
I've never, how can I say this lightly? I've never been impressed with the execution of the government on most of these things, right? Like it's either too wide of a net or it's completely defeatable. This doesn't sound like this was executed very well.
Right. Very much like TSA's, doing their profiling, where they're not not profiling. They're randomly picking someone to frisk.
So
and-
I've got some good TSA stories.
Yeah, what's that?
Well, the random one is interesting. My non-educated intuition on that is that's probably a decent idea to randomly pull somebody out of the line now and again, sort of like
The 87-year-old Hawaiian woman
I know.
is not looking to take the plane
She's
down.
just bringing spam home. That's all she's doing.
Exactly.
That's all she's doing.
The 20-year-old kid, no matter what color his skin is, that kid you might want to look at.
Yeah, totally. Especially if it's my kid.
They're all 20-year-old males in their 20s are probably the biggest
Sure.
demographic. We're, it's not that profiling is a problem. We're just profiling the wrong
We're just
people.
profiling poorly.
Yeah.
There was this story a while ago. So this got to go back at least probably 10 years. This guy, I think he was a security researcher, had sort of highlighted that and I believe this is still the case, when you go through TSA and you scan your boarding pass, all they're doing is pulling your encoded information that's inside the barcode. So your name, Jeff Parker, your birthday, the flight, not even your birthday, the flight information. It's pulling out of the barcode, putting it on the screen, and the TSA agent compares that to your license, right? And they're using that to make sure that Jeff Parker isn't on a watch list to get through. That's it. But the point is that there's no live system. Like when you scan that barcode, it's not actually hitting a live system to validate that you have a booking on a flight.
Yeah.
It's all encoded in the barcode. So this researcher, I think it was a researcher, had pointed this out and said, hey, this is problematic. Like we should tie these systems together because people could make fake boarding passes or they could change the name so that if Jeff Parker's on a list, you could change your name to Bob Smith and still get through TSA. You could bypass that.
Yes.
Right? And match some fake ID or whatever that you had. So nothing happened, right? He sort of published this information. Nothing happened for, I think, a couple of years. So then he said, as most good researchers will do, well, okay, if you're not going to do anything about this, I'm going to exploit it.
Right.
So he made there's like a webpage you could go to.
So I force you to have to do something about it. Yeah.
You force
of
your
course.
hand, right? So he made a little webpage you could go to, and you could put in your name and flight information and an airport and the date, and it would print you a boarding pass. Like a legit looking, whatever, Southwest American boarding pass. And here's the thing. It would work to get through TSA.
Sure.
It wouldn't work to get you on the plane
Because you don't have a reservation.
those systems actually are tied to the reservation system. But to get through security, It would totally work.
Is there some reason TSA is not tied into the reservation
I
system?
think it's probably a complex problem that they have all of the money, so they should be able to solve it. And I know people that work at the TSA, so I'm sure they're going to be super grumpy with me even saying this.
Sure.
This guy made this boarding pass generator that you could just walk through security now. You could just print a boarding pass in my name, CJ Little, and the state.
That's a problem,
And
by
the
the
thing
way.
is, it did get their attention when
Yes.
it did that. And they did do something about it.
What'd they do?
Well, you would like to think they improved the system. You'd like to think they interconnected all these TSA terminals to make it safer for all of us to fly.
Right. But neither business nor the government works that way.
No, they didn't do that. They went to his house and seized all of his shit.
Right.
So he literally came home and there was like a FBI seizure notice taped to his kitchen table.
So literally the guy who points out your problem, who could help you.
That's the guy you yell at.
That's the guy whose stuff you
The
stole.
white hat guy who's trying to help.
Right.
Who's trying to say this is
Meanwhile, you're
problematic.
you're keeping that system in place,
Sure.
so that other people can exploit it.
And granted, I've flown a lot less during the pandemic, but I'm pretty sure that's how those systems still work. So you could still generate your own boarding pass.
Well, that makes me
get
feel
through.
incredibly secure.
Security theater, Bruce Schneier. He's always called TSA security theater. It's the presentation of security without actually making anything more secure.
It's a drink cart that goes in front of the front cabin at the plane, so that you can't get to the pilot who's going to go use the
That's
restroom.
effective. That's actually effective.
It might slow someone down, but if I really wanted to get to the pilot, I probably could.
I mean, they lock the door still. They always keep two people in the cockpit now. Like the procedure's better. The pilot's got to pee. You don't want him you don't want to be like a trucker filling one of those bottles, just throwing bottles out of the plane at 500 knots, like a little like piss bomb or whatever, just flying over. Can't open the door.
It would be a chunk of ice.
Totally. By the time it hits,
came down.
That's a terrible idea, Jeff. One of your worst.
Wow.
Okay, just let it go. Let them use the goddamn
Let the
bathroom.
pilot pee. Okay, we're going to hit the button. We're going to come back. We're going to talk about tipping.
How do you feel about tipping?
I'm for it.
Okay, you're pro tipping.
100%.
Okay, when do you tip?
Whenever I get the chance.
This is our 4th episode. I've gotten one tip from you.
Well, not you. You got the.
Okay,
You got all
so
the,
you have
you
a
got,
line. That's
you
my
got all
point.
the money. You got all the money. You don't need any more of the money. No,
What's your criteria for tipping?
I mean, like if I'm in a restaurant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Of course, I want to make.
Of course.
If this person gives me even
Good service.
even no, it doesn't even have to be good.
Just not terrible service.
Exactly. Actually, actively
Okay.
not bad
This is
service.
where one of the many ways where like if you get not terrible service, what do you do for tipping?
20%.
Yeah. And if you get amazing service, like just like this person is the best ever, what do you do?
I have a waitress who gives me routinely fantastic service at a restaurant that I frequent.
Yes.
100%.
You're 100% tip.
Absolutely.
Wow. Let Jeff. I've never given 100%.
She's
no, that's not
she's
true.
worth
never.
it. She's worth
That's
it.
incredible. Good
Yeah.
on you. I will tell you my range. Like if it's really mediocre.
Yeah.
No, that's not true. If it's terrible, I'm still throwing you 15%.
I'm never throwing you less than 15%. If you bring me the wrong order, because
You
this is
spill
how
hot
these
coffee on my lap.
right. This is how
Yeah.
these people live, and
Yeah, of course.
I want you to be around to get better at your job.
Agreed. Well, okay, I'm not sure that gets it there, but I agree. You want people, you're helping support their
Yeah,
job.
of course.
I totally get it.
These poor people live on what's called the tipping wage.
So that's what we're going to talk about. The tipping
sorry,
wage.
sorry.
Yeah, which I think I got notes here, man. Come on.
I should
Done
read
some
ahead.
research.
I'm
Yeah,
so sorry.
I should. But my other concern on the other side is even if I get really good service, I typically don't tip past about 25%, with very, very few exceptions.
And I'll blow that away. And I had a tire problem, and I had to take my car down somewhere.
A tire problem?
Yeah.
Okay.
And a guy worked on
Call
my.
those flat tires normally.
It was not fully flat, but it was leaking, and it literally, every
flattening tire.
Right, every 12 hours it would be, it was a slow leak.
We call that in the car industry, in the automobile industry, we call that a flat tire.
Well, okay, but I had to get this thing fixed, and I took it down somewhere south on La Cienega, way, places I've never been before.
Lots of details.
To a shop that.
Yep.
Where a lovely man came and he took my car and he jacked it up and he took the tire off.
Yep.
He worked on this for 50 minutes.
Yep. Charge you $12.
$35.
Yeah.
And I was like, there's no chance an hour
sure.
of your life is worth
Worth this,
$35.
sure.
It's
Yeah.
got to be. So I gave him, $100, and I was like, keep the change. This is silly.
Totally.
$35 for an hour of your life is in 2023. It's 2022 when it happened, which makes more sense, I guess.
A lot of
That's
details.
crazy.
2022 La Cienega, 45
Well, I want you to be able to recreate my steps.
Fuck. Now I know right where you were. I can go look it up.
Sure.
So do you know
crack out your Thomas guide?
There's a lot
and track my.
Do not
turnabout.
make fun of the Thomas Guide, okay? That is an institution I am not willing to poke fun at. God, I missed my Thomas Guide so much.
How come they didn't make electronic maps? How come they didn't make maps for your phone?
I think we're going to talk about how that's one of those companies that sort of missed the boat,
Wow.
right? Because they had all
And
the
they
data.
had all the data.
all the data.
Yeah.
and it was good.
It was great.
Yeah, I think they wanted to keep selling books. I think is what happened.
I've derailed
A
you.
little bit on tipping here. Do you know where it came from?
No idea.
So I me neither. So I did some ultivisting on this, and apparently it has its roots in 19th century European taverns. So Americans went over there and like, oh, you would tip in taverns for service.
Yeah.
Sort of brought the concept back, but then it became a way to subsidize freed slaves in the U.S.
Oh,
which
sure.
I didn't appreciate. That makes a lot of sense, right?
Makes total sense.
And it became very popular at the Pullman Company, where they had servers and porters that were expected to earn tips. They were paid a very low wage and expected to earn
Still
tips.
that way.
So I didn't know any of this, right? What I didn't know as much about as I do now, was the tipping wage that you mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
So from what I've read, I'm no expert on this, but I looked at the Department of Labor site, and I'll put a link on this episode, where there are different states where you can have a tipped wage.
Yeah.
So you can pay a wage that is like $2 an hour, and then they're expected to make it up with tips.
Yeah.
Which, okay, I get the gist of that, but that's not how this is supposed to work.
Right.
Right? And this is where I just think the whole tipping concept starts to break down. And this was an article that I'd read in researching this. A woman in Pennsylvania said that her mortgage company has been asking for tips lately. Her mortgage company.
Yeah.
That doesn't seem like somebody very high on my list.
Why would they ask for tips? That
I
doesn't
don't
make
know.
any
They're
sense.
providing amazing service. They answer the phone when you call. I don't know. Like, where do you draw the line?
That's a product I would not think of tipping on.
And of course, that one caught me as this is definitely not what I would
Right.
normally tip on. But it's so crazy that you can go to these places that will pay their employees below minimum wage with the expectation the employees are going to get tips.
Right.
And then you've got these other surcharges that have popped up now too, where you'll see like a 3% cost of living they tack on at the end of the bill, or
Right.
healthcare, which, by the way, I am for all of those things.
Just raise your prices.
Just raise your fucking prices. Why are you putting this at the end? I get why you put it at the end, but why are you putting it at the end? Why is it below the line, right?
Yeah.
Like, just put it all in there. And I feel like
It's more detail as a diner. It's more detail than I want. So I don't want to do your taxes.
Yeah, exactly.
I just want to pay my bill.
I would just like a sandwich, please.
Exactly.
So could we, like, what's the path to pushing a big red button in this country where we could just not have tipping only as optional for great service? So if I get my regular mediocre service, I pay my bill, happy days.
Well, you've got to include a reasonable cost of living wage.
Yes.
Into the cost of your
I'm
food.
already paying it. Let's just put it above board and not make it this weird dance that's behind. And then you've got these,
I don't have any problem with that. If you want to raise the minimum wage so that people are making a living wage.
I think it's harder than just raising the minimum wage. You still have this infrastructure that's set up around tipping.
Yeah.
And so I in researching this, I'd come across someone who had set up a new coffee shop here, actually in LA.
Okay.
And they went out of their way to not accept tipping, to the point where the person setting it up had to write their own iOS app so that they could use, I think it was Clover, one of the payment processing, Stripe maybe, but they didn't want any tipping in it because their point was, we're paying an adequate wage.
Great.
We don't want, and they said they've actually chased down customers that have left money
Given their tip
on the table.
Yeah.
Like, no, that's not what we're trying to do here. And that kind of goes to your point earlier of, you need to do more of that if you want to normalize it and make that the thing. And I know we're a long way away from being able to make it a thing.
But to do that, they've had to have their prices are not competitive probably with other coffee shops.
Of course not.
So I mean, probably there's a sticker shock when you walk in and you see a $17 cup of coffee.
But if you can do basic math, and $17, that's the cheap one. That's the small. Okay. If you want the venti,
it's a little 36 more.
But here's something else that came out of this, which is loosely related and ties back to your previous segment. Something he was getting hazed on this comment that he made, it wasn't an article, just a comment, was that he doesn't accept cash. And the reason, I'm assuming it's a he, I don't know.
That's interesting.
So the point of the author on this, the coffee shop owner, was, if I want to manage cash, I don't have to manage cash and deal with the security around that. I need a dedicated employee to just managing cash during the day. Yeah. They got to sit at the register.
You got to count it. You got to give back change.
Without that,
by the way, have you looked at cash? There's a little thing on it that says valid for all debts, public and private.
Yeah, that's problematic.
So how do you not take cash?
Well, New York, a couple of years ago, passed a law that said all establishments must take cash.
Yeah.
And that is a big problem because you have the underbanked that don't have
Of course.
credit cards or cash cards. I always carry cash on me at all times.
I never do.
I always have cash on me.
I don't have one penny of cash on me.
Typically to do something that is like a quick transaction. So
Yeah.
as you know, I race cars as a hobby.
Yeah.
I used to have standing offers to buy chassis, the same car that I race.
Sure.
People on the street, I'd just be like, I'll give you $500 for your car right now.
Right. It
And they'd be
sounds like
you're.
it's a bad version of Candid Camera.
It's a terrible version of Candid Camera.
Give me the chassis off your car right now.
Right now.
$500.
Right at $500. So anyway, I always carry cash around. You never know. You never know when you need it. But I never use it. I don't want to get change or you hand me change.
Right.
What am I going to do with
Right.
that? And throw it in a box.
By the way, I also have a problem with restaurants who only take cash. Cash only restaurants or any
Sure.
obviously you're
just have a lot of
you're
problems.
cheating on your taxes. Let's be honest.
No, that couldn't be the
You're
case.
underreporting your
How
revenue.
dare you, sir?
Yeah, I know.
You're probably most likely cheating on your taxes.
Yeah.
You also don't want to pay 5% to Amex and deal with that shit.
Okay.
Have you ever been to Bill's Burgers?
No.
Bill's Burgers is up on Oxnard in the Valley.
Okay.
He's in his
I
90s.
don't go up that far.
He's in his 90s.
Yeah.
He's been operating his burger stand since the 40s.
Oh, that's cool.
He only takes cash.
Well, I think there's probably a lot of restaurants that do.
No, I get it. But like,
In his case, he's probably got a legitimate reason. He
you
doesn't.
ain't changing Bill. No. I'm sure Bill has been not paying his taxes in full for the past 60 years.
Sure.
Right? Bill always has like this giant wad of cash on the side.
Yeah.
So I think it's interesting to think about all these things together. Cash, tipping, not accepting cash,
Yeah.
which I think is a real problem. But I also don't want to force a small business to take cash. That's a hard pain in the ass.
The 5% that you're paying to Amex is totally worth it if you don't have to deal with cash.
I think that's the argument, yeah.
Because the labor costs of dealing with cash are.
So you said Amex. I think you mean Apple, because that's what's coming next.
Oh, yeah.
This is Apple.
By the way, did you see in the Wall Street, again, reading the Wall Street Journal when I should have been doing other things more productive, Goldman Sachs lost over $1 billion to the underwriting Apple's Apple Pay.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
I did see an interesting stat about the Target Red Card, and that penetration on that in their stores is like north of 30%,
That's incredible.
which is incredible. Now, why? It's so high because they give you a discount. But you think about that as the next primary payment type. I'm surprised they haven't done that yet.
Right.
Right? Just allow you to use that at other non-Target locations. But and then there's this last bucket, my last point here I wanted to make, which is that there's all sorts of people that I want to tip that I can't tip.
Yes.
There's no mechanism for.
Correct.
The guy that drops off my Amazon packages
I never see him.
does a 9.5 out of 10 job every single time.
The person who delivers my mail. It's unless you stand
Totally.
out there and stalk this poor person, it's
You never see 'em.
impossible to give them a Christmas bonus.
Right? So but it's this fine line between you want someone to be able to offer you the opportunity but not have it in your face, which is what happens now. Like I go pick up a pizza.
Yeah.
I'm picking up a pizza. Yes, they made the pizza for me, but I had no service, no delivery there. I just go and pick it up. Am I tipping on this?
But there's like a communal tip jar that you can put money into.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I presume when they're asking for it on the card.
Yeah.
It's the same thing, right?
Anytime I can find an excuse to stuff money in that jar.
You just throw it in there.
Because these poor people are living. I mean, it's one thing. It's one thing to have all of your basic
Sure.
needs taken care of. I promise you, it's very hard for those people to meet their basic needs.
Especially when my son comes up and likes to tip over the tip jar, and I'm like, buddy, don't. My kids will run amok in a restaurant and nobody cares at all
Sure.
until they touch the tip jar, and then there's like 27 sets of eyes, and I'm just like, no, I'll just put more in there,
All right, let's hit the button. When we come back, let's talk about what's right with cryptocurrency.
which you also cannot tip with.
Have you ever owned any cryptocurrency?
I have actually. I have owned some.
You currently own cryptocurrency?
I currently own some
What do you
cryptocurrency.
own?
I have some BTC, as a matter of fact.
Well, that's good for you,
Yeah.
I guess.
Uh-huh.
You and I make fun of cryptocurrency a lot.
It deserves it.
100%, absolutely. Fiat currency that's tied to absolutely nothing. Now, the US dollar is a fiat currency, but it is also connected to the world's largest payer of debts, happens to pay in the US dollar. So there's a certain amount of stability to that.
And for the foreseeable future, we'll probably continue to pay those debts, hopefully.
I would say that, well, we're going to find out.
Yeah, we're definitely going to find out.
That may not
That might
happen.
not be true.
I would say that there are things that cryptocurrency gets right
Yeah,
that
absolutely.
current banking does not.
Yep.
And therefore, there is some good to cryptocurrency, at least the ideas of cryptocurrency. I'm not sure there's a perfect cryptocurrency
course.
yet, but I think the ideas are valid. What are some of those things that come to mind for you?
That cryptocurrency does well.
The cryptocurrency does well.
In addition to money laundering.
Money laundering does perfectly.
Does great.
Sure.
Nobody's writing down to take out 10 grand of crypto.
Right.
Yeah. Microtransactions, I think, are great.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, this seems silly to say. The ability to store or move large or small amounts of
quickly
cryptocurrency quickly
in milliseconds.
And easily. Yep.
I mean, the blockchain. If you're doing the blockchain, it's every 20 minutes. But
to lock it. But
you theoretically could do it with other types of cryptocurrency that don't require as much power as the entire country of Venezuela. You could do it efficiently, and you could do it in milliseconds.
I mean, the entire concept of the ledger, I think, is super smart.
Moving money from point A to point B, though, instantly. Moving value from point A to point B. I think that's incredibly valuable.
Yeah. And accurately, right? I mean, mathematically assurance, as opposed to, like we talked about a couple episodes ago, a Swift message that just says, I want to wire all my money to some bank in the Philippines. Sure, to Dev Null. It's a good place for it. I mean, it gets anonymity. It gets right to a certain point. There's some things you can still decipher, but it's certainly much more anonymous than.
In some countries, I think anonymity is crucial because there's no presumption really of rule of law, and so someone can walk away with all your money. That you can literally just have no recourse.
Yeah,
that happens in this country. Actually, there's this thing called civil asset forfeiture. If you are carrying around more than $10,000, depends on what state you're in, your money. You have a presumption of innocence.
Sure.
Your money does not have that same presumption. They assume if you're carrying around that much cash, you're doing something nefarious, and therefore the police can seize it.
I did not know that. I did not know that you could get that seized. I knew if you cross the border, like internationally, you don't declare it, that could get seized.
Oh, there are police departments who they want some new piece of equipment, and they will get that money
by just seizing some cash.
By seizing cash, civil asset forfeiture.
That's the new speed trap.
You now have to go. Once they seize your money, you now have to go and argue in front of a judge that you were not doing anything nefarious with them, and it's almost impossible to do.
Wow.
Cryptocurrency, you're not carrying anything. It's a few bits.
Not yet. Well, you're carrying the bits, I guess.
But not necessarily. I can delete the app on my phone, and then I can relog into it when I reinstall it.
Yeah. That's funny.
Also, modern banking is sort of built on a model that isn't really the truth anymore.
Yeah, it hasn't caught up.
Gladys goes in the back and she gets a file that has your account on it. And
your signature.
Right. And she fills out the little thing and she stamps it with her stamp.
Debit $26.
Right. She comes out to the front and she does the little transaction with you and she goes back. There's none of that labor cost.
I mean, maybe that's an opportunity, though.
How so?
There's this general movement with the Gen Zers to go back to handmade things. Maybe we should do a bank that's all hand done.
Oh, that sounds miserable.
Doesn't it sound great?
but the fees,
modern banking, but slower.
The fees you're paying now for banking would cover that. That's what those fees were originally designed for. Server cost is like nothing.
But instead of like a handmade cake, you have a handmade mortgage.
One of the big motivations for cryptocurrency was everyone was very upset by the fact that the Fed is intentionally baking 2.5% of inflation into cash money each and every year.
Yep.
By the way, it doesn't actually happen. It never happens smoothly. You have years where you have, zero inflation.
Negative inflation.
And you might have 3-4 years of that. It's going to catch up with you eventually.
Totally. Yeah.
It always will catch up with you.
Law of averages, I guess, at the end. Crypto's fun. So, do you know my crypto story? We talked about this with BTC.
No,
I was aloof to this earlier. Many, many years ago, I want to say
aloof to it, or you alluded to it?
I alluded to it, but I was aloof to telling you the story. I'm not sure I'm using that word right. I didn't tell you I didn't give you all the details.
Okay.
Many moons ago, there was this thing called Bitcoin that was relatively new.
Yeah.
And nobody was talking about it. They weren't worth anything. Me being a nerd and a technologist.
You couldn't buy anything with it.
No. It was at that point, it wasn't even on the radar. And I set up a server at home, just screwing around, and I had it mint a couple BTC that were
do a little mining,
useless.
Sure.
And that was it. I sat there. I kind of forgot about them, and then some number of years later, not sure when, they were worth whatever $50,000. For BTC. And I was like, I got these things sitting on a hard drive somewhere.
Sure. You just have to have the password for your wallet.
Well, yeah, you're jumping to the end. So I'm pretty sure I know where the drive is.
Oh, you don't even have the drive?
Oh, I got the drive. It's in a box. I have a box of all my old hard drives.
Excellent.
And
you don't have an interface for the drive.
Yeah, the interface I think I probably have. I'm guessing it's probably like an old SATA interface. So that part I think I can solve. That's the good news. The bad news is I'm also virtually certain I do not know the password to the cold wallet.
Sure.
Which means, and I've always sort of thought about these BTC as Schrodinger's cat. So as long as I don't go looking for them, I know that I have them.
Right.
And I can go get them whenever I want.
Right.
But then once I go look at them,
and you don't have the password,
no password, realize it's just a dead cat.
You got a dead cat
on a hard drive.
Okay.
Yeah. So I just don't go look for it. Right now I'm very proud of my BTC that I can't.
That you have no way to get to.
No way to. There is this guy running around like somewhere, I want to say on the East Coast. Have you heard about this? He has like $300 million of BTC on a USB key that got thrown away in the landfill. And he's been digging up the landfill. Like he's offered 25% or some insane cut to anybody that can help him find it. But there's literally like a USB key. He's digging through the trash.
How much dead Bitcoin is there?
I mean,
it's part of why Bitcoin goes up in value. It has to be because the scarcity increases as idiots throw away their USB keys.
We'll have to research this for the next episode because our odd numbered episodes are typically the crypto AI linked episodes.
Sure.
But up front, there was a whole bunch that was mine that's never seen the light of day. So is it dead? Is it just floating around? Who knows?
Well, if you don't have access to the wallet, it's dead. That's part of the problem with cryptocurrencies that require wallets.
Yeah.
You need to invent a cryptocurrency that doesn't need that wallet.
Just send your keys to me. I'll manage it for you. No wallet needed.
That's what the wallet is, though. I mean, it's somebody else has your keys and can drain your account on really something that's mostly unregulated.
Yeah, you thought LastPass hack was bad.
Oh yeah, sure. Wait till they take all your money.
Yeah, totally.
All right, so regular banking has its advantages.
It does have its advantages.
That's what this segment was about. That's what I was getting to.
But that's like when BTC was going sideways and people were complaining about, I misspoke. Not BTC, when the crypto market was going sideways.
Yeah.
And people were complaining about, we need more regulation around this. I'm like, yeah, that's kind of the point, right? Like, do you remember the 30s?
But on the other hand, regulation can also be a problem if you're in a country that does not respect the rule of law. And they want their friends to just take your
regulation can
money.
Be a problem in a country where they do respect the rule of law. I'm not debating that, but it's a balance. And I think right now it'd be in the Wild West. And like, you remember the Mt. Gox hack? We don't even talk about it anymore.
Yeah, sure.
Man, like you don't have to dig very deep on that to realize just how terrible that system was.
Yeah.
And that was, hundreds of millions of dollars in there.
Yeah.
Which now seems like, of course, in the light of SBF and FTX, you're like, what's a couple $100 million between friends?
It's tipping money.
Yeah, sure. It's tipping money.
It's tipping money.
Exactly.
Listen to our previous segment on tipping.
Yeah.
You'll see what I'm talking about.
Anyway.
All right, now we're going to move on to the
Year of the Rabbit.
Oh, we're talking about the Lunar New Year.
Lunar New Year.
Fabulous. Hit the button. Let's do it.
Let's do it. There is contention in the air this Lunar New Year.
Oh yeah? What's that?
Do you know what year this is? What Lunar New Year this is?
No.
It's the rabbit.
All right, great.
Unless,
as everyone says it, but I'm still writing snake on all my checks.
Wow.
That's the world's oldest joke.
I mean, just the idea of you writing a check in line at Whole Foods and then you writing snake on the date line would be hysterical.
So many problems with that.
We got a lot to unpack here, listeners. I hope you're on a long drive. This year is commonly referred to as the Year of the Rabbit, unless you're in Vietnam.
Oh.
Where it's the Year of the Cat.
Why is that the case?
I have no idea. That's what I wanted to figure out.
Because they rhyme and something got messed up?
Well, no, not quite that easy.
An accident in the dictionary, the dictionary printing?
Speaking of accidents in the dictionary.
Like pterodactyl has a P in front of it?
It does have a P, just like pneumonia. This is not related to any kind of, I believe I'm pronouncing this correctly, allurophobia. Do you know what that word means?
Cat fear?
Fear of cats. Extreme or irrational fear of cats. Had no idea. I learned that today. Researching this. No, there's a couple different explanations. One is that according to the Chinese legend,
yes,
the order of animals in the zodiac cycle was determined by a, quote, great race.
Okay.
Which confused me.
Sure.
So I read deeper. And
sounds made up.
It 100% sounds made up.
Yeah.
Some stories say that Buddha declared that the first 12 animals to sign up for the race would be eligible to participate. And then the order that they finished the race in would ultimately determine the order of the lunar calendar. And the cat and the rat were the best of friends. The cat liked to sleep late. So on the morning of registration, Rat had agreed to wake him up. I'm not making this shit up.
You're totally making
I'm
this
not.
up.
Rat had agreed to wake him up. But when the day came, Rat forgot all about his promise. And without his friend's alarm call, the cat overslept, missing his chance to sign up, which is why there's no cat in the lunar calendar. This is according to the Royal Mint.
Sure.
So I'm presuming it's some sort of legitimate source.
Must be true.
So I was like, okay, I'm not sure about that. That was one explanation. Some believe that the cat's inclusion in the Vietnamese zodiac comes down to etymology.
Yeah.
Somewhere in history, the ancient Chinese word for rabbit, pronounced Mao, M-A-O,
Okay.
was misinterpreted as meow for cat in Vietnamese.
Oh, the word for cat in Vietnamese is meow?
Apparently. This
Oh,
is what I read.
I love
M-E-O.
that.
I'm probably butchering the pronunciation, but it makes sense.
Is the word for dog bark?
Woof.
Woof. Oh,
I don't know.
Is that true?
No,
That would be
I have
so
no idea.
cool.
But it would be cool. I should have just
If
told
that's
you
true,
yes.
I'm totally learning Vietnamese.
Yes. Okay. That'll be the best 7 minutes of your life on Babbel. And I'm pretty sure you'll be right off that. So that's one explanation. So it was meow. The third was that the Vietnamese just don't want to observe 2 years with a similar animal. And I was like,
Okay.
well, wait a minute. What are the similar animals? And then they see the mouse or the rat and the rabbit as being closely linked. And I'm like, wait a minute.
Not seeing that.
Yeah, I'm not seeing that either because they've clearly never been to New York.
Sure.
Right? Like, I've never had a rabbit try to bum a cigarette off me on the subway.
Sure.
Right? Where, meanwhile, I've had full-on conversations with rats.
Sure.
So I don't think that's what they're getting to. But I don't know. I just thought it was interesting that there was some contention over the animal that it is. So it's the year of the rabbit, and if somebody says this to you, you could say, well, or the year of the cat for a Vietnamese friend. Hat tip to Venkata. Reddy had my back for Act 6 this week. I had a hard time finding Act 6, and Venkata helped us out.
Quickly, before we go, have you seen or read anything good this last week?
Yes. Well, not seen or read. I listened to the Melissa McCartney episode of Smartless. Their like third or fourth episode. It was really good.
It's a great show.
Yeah, it's a great show. And she's just so funny.
I saw the movie She Said.
Yeah?
By the way, we've reached peak streaming app.
What does that mean?
That means that I have such a fatigue from signing up for streaming services
yeah.
that literally the Peacock app where She Said plays is whatever it is, $5 a month if you have commercials and $10 a month if you don't have commercials. And I paid $20 for the movie so that I wouldn't have to have another streaming service. I'm willing to pay double the amount of money.
That's the plan.
In some cases, 4 times the amount
Just
of
to
money.
get it once.
So I don't have to have a streaming service.
I mean, there are entire companies now that are built around unsubscribing you from shit you subscribe to.
The movie is really good. It's about it follows the story of the New York Times journalist Jodi Kantor and Megan Twohey, who exposed Harvey Weinstein's sexual misconduct.
Do you recommend it?
I really do. It was quite good, and I think pretty much knew all the details of the story.
Sure.
There turns out there were a lot of things I didn't
know. Well told.
and I thought it was just great. That's the episode.
Thank you for joining us for all this nonsense. A truly terrible podcast from the Awful Company. I'm CJ Little.
I'm Jeff Parker.
If you like this program, please follow, download, subscribe, and like at Apple, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, or wherever you get all of your podcasts.
Podcastindex.org. Special thanks to our floor director, Ryan Pfeiffer.
Special thanks to Ryan. We'll be here every Wednesday morning for more nonsense. Join us.